Hey everyone, happy Thursday and welcome to Puck It Up with Joe over here on Sports Grid TV. I hope everyone had a fantastic evening last night and I hope you guys tailed with me on those Washington Capitals. Looks scary in that second period as the New Jersey Devils fought their way back, but Washington Capitals able to capitalize on the first and the third period, get us that nice win and get us that beautiful plus money. So let me know if you cashed anything in that game last night and what you're liking in tonight's action. We have 11 games on the ice, so plenty to go over and talk about. And like always, anyone watching over here on IG, make sure you go over to Twitter, go over to X, Sports Grid TV. If you're looking to see a specific game, I will bookmark it after the show is done here. But big shout out to everyone joining me here. Let's jump right into these games. We know there's been a suspension in the league. Now that's affecting the Ottawa Senators with Shane Pinto there. He has been suspended for gambling. Question marks around exactly what he did and if it was just him betting within the facility. I really doubt that he was betting on actual hockey games or on his team. I think the league would completely suspend him for the game forever. It looks like he's suspended for about 41 games, retroactive back to that first game on the season. I see those comments, Red Wings on the money line coming in over on IG. My only caution with you with the Red Wings is DeBrincat, their number one scorer, is out of that game. So something to definitely keep your eye on in that one. Let's jump firstly into the first game here. We're going to look at the Colorado Avalanche taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, Colorado undefeated on the season, minus 146. It kind of scares me a little bit that we're getting so much value on Colorado. Plus 122 for the Pittsburgh Penguins are at home in this one. Total 6.5, juice to the over at minus 122 to that over. Looking at Colorado, Georgiev expected in goal. He's been absolutely phenomenal. His goals against average is under 2 at 1.98. His save percentage at 0.930. He's been phenomenal. This defense has been phenomenal, holding opponents to 28.7 shots on goal. And we look at Pittsburgh Penguins team, and they've been firing away, averaging 35 shots on goal per game, but only having 2 goals per game on average sink in the back of the net. So struggles here for the Pittsburgh Penguins to be able to connect in the back of the goalie's net. Tristan Jarry expected in goal for them tonight. He has been strong on the season with a 2.81 goals against average, and that save percentage just below 900. I think one thing I like better than anything else here is to look at where the Colorado Avalanche have capitalized in their games. They have been able to get these goals on the board in all of their games, except for that one versus the Sharks, where I think they maybe underestimated the Sharks. They've been scoring these 4 goals per game in each and every one of these. So that team total over 3.5 looks really appealing in this game. It's coming in at minus 106 over there on FanDuel. So definitely something to look at. I couldn't see the Pittsburgh Penguins winning this. And now Colorado has to be undefeated or has to lose a game at some point. I just don't see it happening in this one. Not with the struggles we're seeing out of the power play by the Pittsburgh Penguins. I don't think they'll be able to capitalize when they have that extra man advantage. And I also look at the Pittsburgh Penguins. Their only wins have come versus the Capitals and my Calgary Flames. And let's be realistic. Yes, the Capitals got us a nice big win last night, but hasn't been really a stepping up. Nathan MacKinnon for that anytime goal. Absolutely. You got to look at Nathan MacKinnon for that goal. He should be coming out nice and strong in this game. Look at him for those shots on goal as well. The Pittsburgh Penguins, they're still strong defensively, but they're not, holding opponents to 25, 26 shots on goal. They're allowing that rate, 29.2. So that's when we start to look at those shots on goals. Props to come in. I'd look at Georgia for his save shots on goal as well. We know the Pittsburgh Penguins are going to be firing away at will. They are second in the league, averaging that 35. Other players other than Nathan MacKinnon to look at for those shots or those anytime goals. Cale Makar, we know how strong this defensive player is 3 goals already on the season with 6 assists. He loves to fire away from that blue line. He's been limited on his shots on goal, so if you're looking at Cale Makar here, I'd probably look for that anytime goal in this game. And then Rantanen, he has been phenomenally strong as well. 5 goals and 7 assists on the season, and those shots always coming in. So I'd look at his shots on goal tonight. He's at 5, 3, and 7 in the prior 3 games. Now, no look ahead here for the Avs. They have the Sabres and not till Sunday. It's a Thursday night. So I'm not worried. This isn't a team that has the Bruins on deck, which another team does have the Bruins on deck. So we kind of look at those look ahead spots for these good teams, and I just don't see it here. One thing to let you guys know, the underdog has gone 4-1 in the last 5 meetings. Can you guys really see the Pittsburgh Penguins beating the Colorado Avalanche? I don't know. James, I have done shows about futures in hockey, so I can go over some of those futures again. We'll take another look at that probably on a slow day that we're having, and I'll let you guys know what day that is. Okay, the San Jose Sharks and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, the Sharks in this one, huge underdogs in the Sharks team yet to win a game. Sharks coming in at plus 245, minus 310 here for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Total of 6.5, and actually juiced to that under 6.5 at minus 115. Now, I do think they're juicing this to the under because they have no faith in the Sharks' ability to score in this one. This team is averaging under 2 goals per game at 1.33. To say this team is struggling offensively is an understatement. They're 32nd overall in the league at shots on goal and 31st in the league, or sorry, 32nd in scoring those goals and 31st in getting those shots on goal at only 24.5 shots on goal per game. This is not what this team needs to do. They need to come out stronger. Best chance for them to get firing in this game, though, you look at the Tampa Bay Lightning, and they are allowing a lot of shots on their goaltender. 31st overall in the league, allowing 36.4 shots on goal. Only second worst to what the Sharks are allowing on their goaltender, 38.5. Now, Mackenzie Blackwood is a net for the Sharks. So this is a positive for the San Jose Sharks. Blackwood has been phenomenal in some of these games. We know he absolutely stood on his head in that one game versus the Avs. He took 52, 51 shots on goal. So he was absolutely incredible in that one. I am going to look at him in this one for his safe shots on goal over 29.5. I think Blackwood, even if the Sharks lose this game, I think Blackwood can go over that number because we're looking here at the Tampa Bay Lightning. They're averaging 28.3, but with the amount of shots given up by the defense here of the Sharks, I do expect this to be a game where he faces at least 45 shots on net. So we need him to, save 10 of those. It's a done deal for me. So I'm going to take Mackenzie Blackwood over 29.5 save shots on goal. I do think the Sharks have been keeping a lot of these games tight. Well, not tight, but they've come out with enough effort that I think there's kind of a play on the plus 1.5 at minus 105 for the San Jose Sharks. Do I love it? No, but if I was going to take a side, I would be looking at that plus 1.5 at minus 105. They've absolutely struggled in Tampa, but we look at the Lightning. They're just giving up those goals left, right, and center. They've got weak goaltending at the moment, and their defense, again, is allowing these opportunities for these shots to come in. What I like better, though, is looking at some player props here for the Tampa Bay Lightning. You can look at Braden Point, Steven Stamkos, and Brandon Hagel here. I'd be looking at all of those players' shots on goal in this one. Brandon Point has been so phenomenally strong with his assists this season, sitting at 7 assists, 1 goal. His shots on goal, he was limited in the last game out, but 1, 4, 3, and 3. So looking for Point to get back to his normal form of getting those shots on goal, definitely a solid way to go. Stamkos was held off on his shots on goal in the last 2 games as well. So I think both of these players against a weak defense here of the Sharks, definitely look at their shots tonight. And Hagel was limited in the last game as well. So, and he's been averaging 3 shots on goal every game. We know has 4 goals and 3 assists. So look at all of those guys. I could see the Lightning's team total going to that over as well. And still Mackenzie Blackwood going over his save shots. Okay, next game. on the board, the Anaheim Ducks taking on the Boston Bruins. Another undefeated team on the season with the Boston Bruins here. Huge favorites, minus 3 of 15, plus 250 for the Anaheim Ducks. That total is low at 2.5. Sorry, not 2.5. That would be insanely low. At 5.5 at minus 138 to the over. 5.5 to the under is a plus 112. What do you guys think? We go under this total. You look at the Boston Bruins and the Anaheim Ducks. These teams just played, with Boston getting a 3-1 win on Sunday over the Anaheim Ducks. I could see this one starting off ridiculously slow again. On Sunday we were riding the under 1.5 in the first period, and that was holding our breath. And then we didn't even have to hold our breath in the second. There was still no goals. So in that third period, we did see all 4 of those goals come in, still keeping us under that total of 5.5. I do think this is another opportunity to play the under 1.5 in the first period, because I don't see both of these teams scoring in the first period. If anyone's going to score for me, it would be the Boston Bruins back here on home ice off that road trip. I think they have every opportunity to come out strong to start, but I'm not seeing 2 goals. John Gibson has been pretty solid for the Anaheim Ducks. He will be in goal tonight. And this Ducks team has done a good job defensively, just limiting those goals in these games so far. So John Gibson coming out with a 2.73 goals against average and its save percentage at 0.907. So faith in him. And then it's Allmark. The Ducks are not going to put up 2 goals. I don't even think they'll put up 1 goal in that first period. It's only Boston that I think could get that goal. But Omar sitting here at a 1 goals against average and a save percentage that is almost perfect at 0.962. They're the best penalty kill in the league. We look at the Ducks. They have basically no power play. So even if Boston comes out and starts off with a dirty game, which we know Boston will do, I don't think that this is a game where we're going to see 2, 3 goals unless Boston absolutely explodes off the road trip. And I don't see it coming in. Um, let's see. Been playing Bruins, correct score past few games, 3-0, 3-1. I like that. I really do, Chad. I think that's a great way to go. I could see this one being another 3-1, 3-2 at the very most for the Ducks if somehow they pull something together, or 4-1 for the Boston Bruins. So those exact scores, when you're looking at low scoring games, definitely prime opportunity to make some money. And Johnny riding with the under 5.5. And I think that's the way you have to go. You have to look at Omar and the Boston Bruins to come out just as strong as always in this one. Boston loves to win in these low scoring games. So definitely think that is a fantastic way to look at this game. If you're looking for a goal scorer, though, for the Boston Bruins, who better to look at than David Pastrnak here? He's been phenomenally strong for this team. The anytime goal for him coming in at minus 115. If you think he can get the first goal, and the first goal scorers, you guys, I love to sprinkle a little bit on, but don't put a full unit on the first goal scorers because they are hard to hit. You never know. He could get the assist, but the first goal coming in at plus 700 for David Pastrnak. 5 goals on the season and 3 assists. Now, he was held off the board versus Chicago and the Ducks on Sunday and had only 4, but he did have 4 shots on goal versus the Ducks. So I think he comes out firing in this one. Thursday night football, if you're looking for it, just head on over to Sports Grid TV. My Thursday night football prop bets are up there. I am curious about the Bucks tonight and their defense, so make sure you go check that out. I've got a couple of prop bets on both sides of that game, but this is just hockey, but it is up on Sports Grid TV's IG and Twitter page. Okay, next game on the board. The Seattle Seahawks. No, not the Seattle Seahawks. See, you guys are going to get me confused letting me talk football mixed in with hockey. The Seattle Kraken. How could I get that wrong? Taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. This one kicks off at 7:10 Eastern tonight with the Canes a huge favorite at minus 200. Now, this team hasn't been winning, and the Seattle Kraken off one of their best games so far offensively, coming in at plus 164. Total 6.5, juice to that under at minus 130. Looking at this one, Decord is confirmed in goal for the Seattle Kraken. Now, he's been pretty solid with a 2.86 goals against average so far on the season. That save percentage sitting under 900 at 0.98 0.898. So just under Frederick Anderson expected here for the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, he's been a sieve to start the season, and we know Frederick Anderson is bound to get back into the rhythm of things. We do see goaltending and defenses kind of struggle right out of the gate, and this Carolina Hurricanes team is one that is getting those goals on the board, but allowing way too many goals at 4.71. But the defense is doing a good job in front of the net, only allowing that 26.7 shots on goal. So the weight really lies on the goaltender here to stop these shots, and it's just not happening here, especially with Frederick Anderson. His save percentage, 0.855. So struggles for him in this one. I am looking for the Kraken to come in with momentum, especially off of that last game. They came out so strong, and I expect them to find the back of Frederick Anderson's net really quick. I'm going to look at that first period over 1.5 goals. This is coming in at -122. We did see the last time these two teams played, because remember, these two teams have already played, and the Kraken were able to get the win. The Kraken got 3 goals in the first period versus the Carolina Hurricanes. It was a 3-1 finish after the first period, and Seattle won that game 7-4. So I do expect the Kraken to come out with that same energy in this game. We know from the playoffs last season that is how this team needs to start if they want to get these wins, firing straight out of the gate. So I do have faith in them to come out firing into this one right away, right out of the gate. The Kraken, there's just so much value here on this team. Plus 164 on the money line, plus 1.5 at -142. And I know the Canes are off losses, and this should be like a bounce back situation. I'm just not sure if I'm buying it with how terrible they've looked defensively and goaltending wise, especially with the Kraken finally finding some sort of momentum. So I do like the plus 1.5 at -142. It's funny because this money line has moved quite a bit, and the plus 1.5 was only -140 earlier, and they were only, they were a little bit less on that money line as a favorite. So interesting way to see that line move. Vince Dunn, someone to look at here for the Kraken. I think he's been playing so strong for them. He's been shooting a lot from that blue line. He had 4 shots on goal in the last game versus the Canes and 1 goal and 2 assists. So if you're looking at someone to come out again, the Carolina Hurricanes love to focus on Jared McCann, and the wings here, they really leave Vince Dunn open. So someone to look at in this. I do think it'll probably be another high scoring game though. So I would look at that going over. Kraken plus 150 first to 2 goals. I do like that, chat. I think that's a nice bet. One I've never bet before, but first to 2 goals at plus 150. I think the Kraken definitely have a chance there. And yeah, I like that. Just trying to catch up on the rest of your comments coming in here and what you guys are betting. Carolina first home game after 6. Yeah, and see, it should be release the Kraken. The Canes, though, if they would have had a better road trip, I would be a less frightened of this team right now. I think off that bad road trip, we're so early in the season. That's my only fear with the Canes. I think this game is competitive. I think this game has the opportunity to go to overtime. I love the Kraken plus the 1.5 because I do think it's that tight of game. So this is going to be an interesting one, you guys. Good luck with that game. Okay, let's look at the next one here with the Winnipeg Jets taking on the Red Wings. Now, current odds on this one, the Red Wings at plus 106, minus 128 for the Winnipeg Jets. Total 6.5, juice to the under, actually, at minus 112 to the under, minus 108 to the over. All we keep hearing about is DeBrincat isn't in the lineup tonight for the Red Wings. Now, one thing, well, he's questionable. He's not going to play because you look at the schedule here for the Red Wings. They have the Bruins on deck on Saturday. They want DeBrincat at his healthiest. This Red Wings team with DeBrincat on the ice could get the upset in Boston on Saturday if he is 100%. I have faith in this team. This team has been so strong offensively. Without him and these lines shifting so early in the season, without him on the ice, I'm not sure if they can get the win here over the Winnipeg Jets. Connor Hellebuck needs to really step up. We haven't seen him look like himself. And James Reimer expected in net. Now, you look at James Reimer's numbers here for the Red Wings. They look absolutely fantastic. 1.00 goals against average, a save percentage of 0.962. Okay, he's had 2 games. Guess who he's faced? And this is my problem here with backing the Red Wings with James Reimer because at first it looks great. He's faced Calgary and the Columbus Blue Jackets. And yes, the Columbus Blue Jackets with Von Jenner have looked really solid, but we know the struggles Calgary has been having. They haven't been getting these goals. So it's not a good situation. Yes, I do parlay football and hockey. I love to parlay my bets, intersports, mingle those in. I just have not been giving them out here on this show. So I do that. And I like to parlay all of my bets normally of a night just for a little sprinkle because when you get those nights where you cash 4, 5, 6 bets and you don't have them parlayed, you definitely regret that. Okay, DeBrincat is ill. Yeah, he is ill, so it's questionable if he'll play. They're gonna save him for the Boston Bruins. So, I guess you're not taking the Wings in, and I wouldn't. I would look at this, Jets team. Kyle Connor is super strong for them. I'm gonna look at Kyle Connor to get the anytime goal here on James Reimer. That's coming in at +135. He has 4 goals and 2 assists on the season. Hellebuck absolutely has to stand on his head. We know Connor Hellebuck has had struggles on the road. The last time he faced Detroit, now he faced them twice. He had an absolutely terrible game where he allowed 6 goals in one of them. And in the other game, he allowed 2 goals on 25 shots on net. So we need that other Connor Hellebuck and not the Connor Hellebuck that allows way too many goals. Defense is doing a good job though. 9th overall in the league, allowing that 28.5 shots on goal. We have the Red Wings allowing that 30.6. Goaltending has been key for this team. Then this team offensively has been absolutely firing. Best team in the league for those goals at 4.86. And second best power play, converting on 41.4%. So the Winnipeg Jets cannot get in that stupid box tonight because they will lose this game. This is going to be a hard one for sure. But Winnipeg has every opportunity of winning. Now, could this be another 4-3 one? Absolutely, because we know the Red Wings will have to step up without DeBrincat on there. While it's hard for these teams to change lines, it's also hard for the Winnipeg Jets to know how these guys are going to play together. So less information on them. Let's look at the next game here. The Columbus Blue Jackets taking on my Calgary Flames. Now, it's a struggle here to find a play that I'm really loving on the Calgary Flames. We know this team has been letting us down, not able to get that last win over the Rangers. They're now almost a $2 favorite, and Calgary does not deserve to be this big of a favorite at -192. Total 6.5, juice to that under at -128. And if you think it's going to go under this total, it's because you think the St. Louis Blues are going to struggle to score, and Calgary is going to struggle to score again in this one. Calgary has not been doing a solid job at getting these goals on the board. So looking at this one, man, what are we going to do with Calgary? I think one thing you can look at Calgary is they come out of the gate pretty hot. So I'd look at that first period for the Calgary Flames. They need to come out firing. They need to score first. They need to get that momentum under their belt. In that first period, taking them on that puck line, laying a half a goal is +138. Hofer is expected in net confirmed in net for the St. Louis Blues. So it's not Jordan Binnington. With Jordan Binnington in net, I wouldn't be taking this bet. Well, with Hofer in net, I expect this Calgary Flames team who's been struggling to score to get that first goal and to get it fast. So you can look at Calgary for the first goal as well. He's got a 6.00 goals against average, save percentage of 0.857. Calgary's been letting me down so much, and this Blues team has played solid in Calgary. I just can't see it happening here. Calgary's lost their last 3 games. And the St. Louis Blues, very clean game. They take the least penalties in the league. So Calgary's going to have to do the same here because Jacob Markstrom absolutely needs that support. He's got a 2.80 goals against average with a 0.897 save percentage. The defense is doing a good job, though. 6th in the league, holding opponents to only 27.9 shots on goal. You can look at shots on goal in this one, though, because we are seeing the St. Louis Blues defense giving up those shots on goal at 34 shots on goal per game. So Elias Lindholm here, last game, he was held to 1 shot on goal. I expect a bounce back from Lindholm. You also look at Majapani. He's been able to get 3 shots on goal the last couple. And Jonathan Huberdeau, only 2 shots on goal in the last game. I do expect him to bounce back. I expect at least 4 out of him as well. So looking at those players for those shots on goal. Okay, we've got to jump back here. I skipped ahead a time slot. Sorry. We're going to talk the Columbus Blue Jackets taking on the Montreal Canadiens. The Columbus Blue Jackets -110, the Montreal Canadiens at -110 as well. So pick 'em situation here. Total of 6.5. Juice that over at -122. Elvis expected in goal here for the Columbus Blue Jackets. And I keep telling you guys, I don't trust Elvis in net, and he keeps proving me wrong game in and game out. Save percentage of .913. I'm waiting for him to lose his cool out there on the ice, but he hasn't done it so far. Goals against average of 2.69. This team has been strong, really led by Von Jenner. I love what we're seeing out of this player out there. He's firing away. This team, power play is not stellar, but they are pretty good on the penalty kill, taking on the Montreal Canadiens at home. Now, Sam Montembeault in goal for the Montreal Canadiens, and Jake Allen has been strong for this team. Sam Montembeault is the goalie that I trusted really from last season. So looking at this matchup here in a pick'em situation, I do think this is one where you can look at Montreal to get the win at home. Lines have shifted a little bit, so it means Columbus has got some love here on the day because they were around -104 and Montreal was around -115 last night. So we are seeing a little bit of shift in money coming in on Columbus, but I do trust Montreal at home. I think this is another game where these two teams are so similar. It has every opportunity to go to OT, so it's one that I'm actually going to sprinkle to go to overtime. We know both of these teams have played in a couple overtime games here. Cole Caulfield has been strong for the Montreal Canadiens, and I believe in him to be able to put some goals on the board today. You can also look at the team totals here, and I think this is a high-scoring, really entertaining game between these two teams. Both of these teams averaging right around 3 goals per game, but they're allowing those goals to come into right over 3 goals per game. They're allowing each of them. They're allowing these shots to be fired away on their goaltenders as well. The only way this doesn't go over is if Sam Montembeault has a killer day, because I keep telling you, I don't have that faith in Elvis. Whichever team you like the best here, take their team total over 3.5. If you believe one of these teams can get to 4 goals, which I think the Montreal Canadiens can, over 3.5 for both of these teams is plus money. So plus 112 for the Montreal Canadiens, over 112, and the Columbus Blue Jackets, I believe it was plus 124. So plus money on both sides. Okay, the Ottawa Senators are taking on the New York Islanders. Jenner over 2.5 shots on goal. Yeah, I would absolutely look at Von Jenner over 2.5 shots on goal. And at Kelly, you're right. The first period over, or both teams to score over in this one is in that first period is definitely a good way to look. Yeah, Hoffer is absolutely brutal for the St. Louis Blues. You're right. Over 5.5 at -210, and Johnny liking the under. Okay, let's look at the Ottawa Senators taking on the New York Islanders. Senators is a team that are all caught up in the Shane Pinto gambling. I don't think it will affect them tonight here. They're rolling in to New York to take on the Islanders. This Islanders team is a team that you've always thought of, or I've always thought of, really strong defensive team. That's not what we're seeing out of them this season. This team is allowing 3.4 goals per game and 32.2 shots on goal. This is a team where, coming down to the end of last season, you looked at the defense's ability to limit those shots on goal, and their numbers were sitting, I swear, around 26.2, something like that. So the defense really needs to start stepping up for the New York Islanders here, and it's going to be a hard feat versus the Ottawa Senators. This team is 4th overall in scoring and shots on goal, averaging 4.17 goals per game and 33.4 shots on goal. So they are going to come out firing. I love what we've seen out of Brady Tkachuk and Vladimir Tarasenko here for this team. Both of these guys really getting things going out there on the ice. Now, without Shane Pinto here, is this team really going to be affected and emotionally affected with his suspension? I don't think so. So I'm not even going to weigh that into the equation. with this game. I look at the New York Islanders. They were off 3 losses. They gave up 7 goals to the Avs in their last game out, allowing 38 shots on goal. So this team should come out stronger defensively. Will they? I'm not buying into it. I think the Ottawa Senators are going to be a complete handful for them. Sorokin is in goal and Corpusalo here for the Ottawa Senators. I'm just going to play it safe in this one. And my safe bet, I really think, is the first period over 1.5. Juiced at minus 132 for over 1.5. But I think that is the only way I can go with this. I think the Ottawa Senators will find success in this game. I do have faith in them to be able to get the win. It's a little bit scary here with the New York Islanders losing their last 3, but I do think the Ottawa Senators are the better team. You guys know I'm high on them for this season. I think this is a team that is going to make it into the playoffs. They have struggled in New York, though, but I'm just not seeing it coming tonight unless the defense looks like the defense of the Islanders that we saw last season. But until they show me that defense, I'm not buying into this team. If you're looking for a player to keep an eye on for the New York Islanders, Bo Horvat here has been getting those shots on goal. So definitely look at him 3-3-4 in his last couple of games. So I expect him to come out nice and strong in this one. Johnny taking the under 6.5 as the Islanders bounce back. So they could, and their defense absolutely could. I just will believe it when I see it kind of situation for me with these teams. Now, these two teams trend to the under. It's because the Islanders are normally a lot stronger defensively. And you look at the Ottawa Senators and their ability to limit opponents' shots on goal. This is what we should be talking about for the Islanders, but we're not. It's actually the Senators allowing only 26.3 shots on goal per game. If you talk to me preseason and said which of these teams would be allowing 32.2 shots on goal at this point in the season and the other one allowing 26, it would have been reversed for these teams. So Ottawa is doing a good job. So if Ottawa does a good job and limits the Islanders' ability to get these goals, this one could go under that total. And if the Islanders come out defensively, that could happen as well. So little bit of scary situation with that total, but I do think that first period we will see those goals come in, and push comes to shove, it's the Ottawa Senators for me. The Minnesota Wild and the Philadelphia Flyers here. The Flyers minus 102. We were getting plus money on them this morning. Minus 118 for the Minnesota Wild. Total 6.5, juice to that under at minus 134. And I think if you're with me on the Philadelphia Flyers to be able to get the home upset win, as they would say here, then you got to look at this one going under. The heart and soul of the Philadelphia Flyers team is Carter Hart. It is his defense being so strong. And give me them on home ice at minus 102 now. They were plus 101 this morning. I like it. We look at the Minnesota Wild, and this team is so strong. Offensively, averaging that 4.17 goals per game, 4th overall in the league on 29.8 shots on goal. Defensively, though, this team is having struggles, allowing 35.2 shots on goal, 4.17 goals per game. And we look at the Flyers and we look at Carter Hart. Carter Hart, you really should view as one of the top goaltenders in the league. I think he's in top 10, you guys. He's got a 2.21 goals against average to start the season, a 0.9222 save percentage. And yes, this is the start of the season, but we look at him in some of those games last season, and Carter Hart was the reason why the Flyers were able to stick in a lot of those games. Even if they didn't win, they didn't get blown out of the water because of Carter Hart. So definitely something to look at. I see those comments: Toronto, Dallas over 6.5, and Carolina on the money line. Not sure if I can get behind Carolina on the money line, but I do think Toronto's game over that total is a nice way to go. Look at the defense of the Philadelphia Flyers, only allowing 27.7 shots on goal per game, 2.67 goals per game. I think that first period stays under 1.5, which you guys know is a scary situation, taking those first periods, because that's when the goalies can mess up. But we're getting first period under 1.5 at plus 106. I'm going to stay off the full game in case all of a sudden the Flyers are able to really ramp up what they're doing offensively. This team has the worst power play at only 5%. They're not converting on those power plays. You look at, they're only averaging 3 goals per game as well. So there is struggles with this team in that regards, but I do think the Flyers can get the win at home. The Toronto Maple Leafs and the Dallas Stars. Now, Wall is confirmed in net for the Toronto Maple Leafs. We got Wedgwood here for the Dallas Stars, and this one has the Stars at -111. The Toronto Maple Leafs at -108. Total of 6.5. Toronto, I think, can get the win here on the road. Wedgwood has a 3.87 goals against average and a .900 save percentage. Toronto is rolling hot. They've won their last two games, and I like what this team brings to the table offensively, averaging 3.67 goals per game. And they're getting these shots. They're firing away, second overall in the league at 35 shots per game, fourth best power play. We look at the Dallas Stars, though, their penalty kill has been at 100%. They haven't allowed opponent to score on that penalty kill as of yet. So it will be a fight in this one, but I do think Toronto is able to get the win. We talked about Calgary Flames. Now let's look at the New York Rangers taking on the Edmonton Oilers. Give me the Oilers, you guys, in this one. We look at the New York Rangers. They are on the back-to-back. Well, not the physical back-to-back, but the Alberta double-double, where they play Calgary and then they play Edmonton. It's always hard for teams to be able to do this. Something you have to remember looking at this season. And everyone is going against the Oilers without Connor McDavid. You look at them in that last game, they're actually able to score without Connor McDavid. Now, you look at the Achilles heel of the Edmonton Oilers, it is their goaltending. They need a better goaltender. Jack Campbell expected in goal 4.35 goals against average and a save percentage of .877. It's not good. Igor Shesterkin expected in net for the New York Rangers. Rangers team total over 3.5. I still think cashes. That's at +120. They're going to be able to score on Jack Campbell, but I do think this is a 5-4 game. Give me the over. Give me the goal in the first 5 minutes. That's coming in at +180. If you're ever looking for a goal to come in the first 5 minutes, you always look at the Edmonton Oilers. And Igor Shesterkin in that first 5 minutes, we see his weakest play, in my opinion. He's prone to being scored on really quick if he's going to be scored on at all, and then can stand on his absolute head. So the team total of the Edmonton Oilers is too juiced at -205, but I do think these two teams get off to an absolutely fast start out there on the ice. Stars too good for the Leafs. You're gonna go with the Stars over the Leafs. I understand why. Everyone going with the Stars all day. Matthews for the anytime goal. You gotta look definitely at Austin Matthews at -135 for that anytime goal. Stars do start slow. Stars slow them. Oh, the Stars you think will slow them down. They might be able to slow them down, but I don't know how much. But you guys, that's all of our games today. We have 6 games on deck tomorrow. And to everyone over on IG, I apologize. My phone just died. But those are the 11 games today. There's lots of opportunities to make some money. I don't know which would be my favorite game. I think there's a lot of opportunities, especially, you look at the Ottawa Senators, New York Islanders, that first period over 1.5. I do like that under 1.5 with the Flyers and the Wild in the first period. I think that's a great way to go. I also like a lot of these goal scorers like Kyle Connor for the Winnipeg Jets to get that anytime goal. Mackenzie Blackwood, I really like here for the Sharks for his save shots on goal over that 29.5. I think that is a really solid way to go. The Avs to keep rolling and their team total for them to keep scoring those goals over 3.5. Seattle Kraken +1.5. That first period over 1.5. That Oilers game, I love that goal in the first 5 minutes because it could come from either of those teams, especially with what Jack Campbell is doing out there on the ice. But we know the Winnipeg Jets, Leon Draisaitl needs to get this team going without Connor McDavid. So it's going to be a great night, you guys. All the best in all of your bets. Thank you for joining me. Johnny taking Oilers on the money line, and I'm with you. I do think that is a game where the Oilers desperately need that win and can get that win at home with the Rangers on the back-to-back. Well, not the physical, the mental back-to-back of the Edmonton double-double. It's not nice in Alberta right now either. It's cold, you guys. That is everything. I wish you all the best. Game Time Decisions has kicked off, so go on over and check that out over on SportsGrid TV. Make sure you download the app. It's free on the Play Store and the Apple iTunes Store, so download the app today. So many player props, so much going on. And if you haven't, and yes, Anthony Blackwood over 29.5 safe shots on goal all day long. I think Mackenzie Blackwood comes out nice and strong for the San Jose Sharks. If you haven't seen my Thursday night props for tonight's game on the football field, go over to Sports Grid and check it out. So lots that I'm liking, you guys. All the best in all your bets tonight. Thank you for joining me here.